Evening, folks. What's up? It's your boy, Old Sugarmouth, and my good friend Dewey, the Deuster Edwards. How are you, fella?
I am doing fine. I am doing great. How are you doing?
I am just peachy. Just
Oh, good.
peachy. Yeah. Yep. People still say that, right? Just
Oh,
peachy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just peachy? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm just peachy then. Even though I'm not really fond of peaches. We're going to get into food right away, see? Immediately.
There we go.
This time we're going to talk about why I'm not fond of peaches. I'm not fond of peaches much because I drank a whole lot of triple sec one night when I was about 17 and vomited everywhere for about
Oh,
3
man.
hours. So I don't like not it was peach schnapps is what it was. That's what it was.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not fond of peaches anymore.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
Yeah, it just all brings me back to that night.
Have you ever tried a mixture of vodka and milk of magnesia?
Why would you do that?
It's called a Phillips screwdriver.
Why would anyone
I'll be here
ever?
all week.
Why would? That's just terrible. That's just terrible. Ay ay ay. So before we get into the cryptid stuff, I'm a fan of wrestling my whole life. A lot of people know that. Did you see all this stuff with Vince McMahon? This the owner. He was the owner of WWE, WWF for years and years and years. And I always thought this guy was just a horrible human being. You could just tell. But he's been accused of just, I mean, awful, heinous stuff against at least one young woman. But I think more is going to come out.
Who was that?
Vince McMahon owned the WWF.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
It's just like another one of those cases of these people who are the upper, 1%, super rich people who just believe that everything is theirs for the taking. They can do whatever they want. They'll never get in trouble for it. It's just sickening that this is what the world is like that we live in. I just, it's kind of like, I'm like, if I was, how do I say this right? I got to be politically correct. There's a reason that there are codes even amongst criminals, right?
Oh yeah.
Even the criminal world has codes. There used to be more back in the day. Like you could be a gentleman and a gangster. They never hurt women. They never hurt kids. If you did, you were in deep shit. Those rules still apply today in most prisons. If one of these guys who hurt kids or women come into a prison, if they're put in general population, their stay is not fun or it doesn't last long.
Right.
And then the only other option they have in a lot of these prisons is they go to either a special needs yard, right? Which, let me explain what special needs is. So a special needs yard is like for sexual predators. Sometimes it's a lot of gang dropouts or people got kicked out of their gangs. These guys get kicked out of the gangs. They're not good guys just because they like are no longer with their gang. They end up going to these special needs yards, and then they just make a new gang there out of all the guys who've been booted out of their gangs. And so now now you're on a special needs yard where these people think maybe they're safe. The other thing on certain special needs yards is like, and this is crazy, but this is the way it is. The homosexuals in the prison, they go to special needs yards and they form their own gang, which sounds crazy to a lot of people, right? But this is the reality of prison. And so those guys also don't like these predators. They don't do it's just in prison, it's a no-go. You're green lighted the moment you get there if you're any kind of predator like that. The one thing that might save any one of these guys who has a lot of money is just that they have money. They'll just be extorted for everything. And if they stop, then, that's it. They're done.
Yeah.
But I'm of the belief that if you do anything like that, if you harm a female, if you harm a child, an elderly person, you deserve anything that you have coming. I'm sorry, I just don't have any sympathy for you whatsoever. I don't care what the in there. Yeah, eye for an eye at that point. So anyway, I just want to touch on that real quick. What's going on, guys? How's everybody doing tonight? Happy Tuesday. Let's see who's here. Hello, Miss Sharon. How are you? Hope, my assistant. How are you? I always told Hope if we ever made money on this channel, I would hire her immediately just to answer my emails. It's 54,000 emails right now.
54,000.
50. Listen, I'll tell you the exact number.
Holy crap.
How many emails I have in my inbox. It doesn't tell me. It doesn't tell me on my phone. It'll tell me on here. I'll tell you in 1 second. Hold on. Let's see. Where are we sitting at right now? We are sitting at 55,720.
Holy moly.
Yeah, there's quite a few. Oh boy.
How many years did that go back?
I don't even know. 55,719 are unanswered. I'm just kidding. Quite a few are unanswered. Anyway, hello, Miss Becky, Miss Kay. How are you? Mark, what's going on, brother? Henry, how are you, man? Marcus Aurelius, thank you for joining us, pal. How are you, man? Bigfoot, Littlefoot, what's up? Does that say Vol? Vol? Slim Jimmy. I like the name. Vol, does that mean you're from Tennessee, the volunteer state? Or I see an orange there, or is that's an orange, right? Is that a peach and orange? Even though I just put peaches down, I hope that doesn't, turn you away. What's Joe got to say? Is he already in here causing trouble? Joe, you need to get a hold of your wife, man. You really need to do something about her. She posted a picture. She's getting carried away by a Bigfoot on Facebook. I mean, this is what happens when you just run willy-nilly into danger, chasing portals and all kinds of stuff. Like, this is your wife now, pal. This is a lifelong contract you've entered into. It is your job to make sure that she is safe. I know it's a difficult job. I get it. I understand. She's a hellraiser. But come on, pal, do better. Just saying.
You got to remember who made the picture too,
What's that?
Guess who made the picture?
Who made the picture?
The one that's supposed to be keeping her safe made a picture with her.
Yeah, right. That's right. Oh God. I agree, Joe. He says you hit a certain economic status, you end up with some real twisted sexual proclivities and hunting people for sport. It's true. It happens too often. Miss Frankie, how you doing, sweetheart? Good to see you. Fraser's View, what's up? Cypress, Texas. Bigfoot, Littlefoot. All right. Yes, I will. I'll shoot you that after the show, buddy. That's good, Marcus. That's good. I've never seen that one before. Like, sub, and share to boost the algorithm. That's good. Taylor McDowell, welcome. New names in the chat tonight, guys. I'm gonna give the spiel. I give it every time there's new people in the chat. Thank you for being here. I truly, truly, truly appreciate you. It's always humbling. It really never ever changes. Anytime anybody decides to watch silly old me Babylon on this stuff, it means much more than you know. And you will not find a better group of people on the interwebs, in the YouTubery, than you will in this chat. I promise you that. I mean that. This chat is caring, accepting, empathetic, kind, loving, funny. It's a great chat. It really is. And I'm not just saying that because it's my channel. If I was an outsider, I would be happy to be in this chat, and it makes me really proud that this is the chat that is on this channel. So anyway, enough of the mushy stuff.
Speaking of Al Gore, I never cared much for Al, young Al.
Tell us how you really feel.
His father, Albert Gore, I thought the world of him. He actually handed me my diploma when I graduated, and I'm going to tell my age here. When I graduated in 1970, he's the one handed me my diploma. Yeah.
Are you kidding? He handed you your diploma?
High school diploma.
Was he your principal?
No, he was just there as a special guest.
Oh, wow.
After our principal had passed away about 6 weeks before we graduated.
So they were like, let's get Albert Gore.
Yes. Albert Gore Sr.
We need to fill in for the principal. So let's get Albert Gore in here ASAP. The only connection I have to Albert Gore, it's a really cool one though. I'll tell you this story real quick. So I worked at this place. I don't know if I've told this story before. I worked at this place. It was well, can I say it now? I can, because I don't know how this works. He passed away a long time ago, so I guess it doesn't really matter anymore. Anyway, I ended up becoming friends with a guy I met by the name of P.H. Leota. I won't even get into how we met, but we met. Peter was his name, Peter H. Leota. Pete was an older gentleman at the time, much older than me. I was in my early 30s. He was in his I think mid 60s or the early 60s at that point. And we got to know each other pretty well. He was at that time the dean of students at Salve Regina College, which, if you don't know Salve Regina, it's in Rhode Island. It's a absolutely gorgeous campus. It's in Newport, right by all the mansions. I mean, literally in the same neighborhood. So you can imagine what this place looks like. It's beautiful. It's a pretty prestigious school too. So he was a dean of students there. Prior to this, Peter was a CIA operative for many years. He graduated from the Air Force Academy. I believe he also attended West Point prior to the Air Force. I think he did both. He was a highly decorated member of the Air Force, and then became a CIA agent. He was a spy, like a legit spy. Worked doing all kinds of stuff, and he in the Balkans he couldn't tell me a lot because obviously a lot of it was classified, but he told me some stuff about he worked in the Balkans, and how they had armored cars and that they would switch these cars on and off, and it was a lot like the movies. It was crazy, some of the stories. But Pete also was a co-holder of the 2010 Nobel Peace Prize on Al Gore's campaign for global warming. So that is the only thing or connection I have to Al Gore, but still pretty cool. We went to separate high schools. Of course you
Oh,
did. These guys are on it tonight.
oh yeah.
So, uh, I came across this really cool post on a very small group on Facebook, and it's about this place in Maine called Haynesville, and they were talking about the legend of the Haynesville Hairy Man, which is a lot like every other Bigfoot story, um, except it dates back pretty far. But they were also talking about how this place is steeped in high strangeness. There's a lot of things that go on there that are really weird. And there's hauntings. There was a song made by country singer Dick Curlis. Does that sound familiar to you at all, Dewey?
Mm-mm.
1965. It's called "The Tombstone Every Mile." And it was the song was made about the dangers of trucking on this Route 2A in Haynesville, and how many truckers actually died driving this route, that there could be a tombstone every mile.
Wow.
And then there's like all these hauntings and all kinds of other craziness that supposedly goes on there. The song lyrics, here, I'll read you a little of them. All you big and burly men who roll the trucks along, better listen, you'll be thankful when you hear my song. You have really got it made if you're hauling goods any place on earth but those Haynesville woods. It's your stretch of road north in Maine that's never, ever, ever seen a smile. If they'd buried all them truckers lost in them woods, there'd be a tombstone every mile. Count them off, there'd be a tombstone every mile. Pretty ominous, creepy song, right? And obviously tells you, about the dangers of driving up there. But there's been many fatal accidents up there. There's the vanishing hitchhiker. There's this story of the Flesher Witch. Anybody ever heard of this? The Flesher Witch?
Mm-mm.
No. You're disappointed I'm not singing this. No, I'm not singing this. So according to this local story, in the 1800s, a young girl named Annie Wilcox moved with her parents and brothers to Haynesville. Shortly after they moved in, she began to complain of strange things happening at night. She said she heard scratching noises at her window as if something was trying to get in, and her parents ignored her. They just kind of wrote it off as like younger kids. Their imaginations are crazy, and that's what was going on there. But I guess it all got stranger as time went on, and Annie said something unseen pulled off the blankets while she slept, and it felt like something or someone was biting her skin at night. That's terrifying. She also heard a voice whispering indistinguishable words in the darkness at times. And again, her parents thought she was just trying to get attention, but I guess they changed their minds one night when Annie ran into the bedroom in tears. Her face was covered with bloody scratches, and she said an old woman with a face that looked like it was melting wax, had attacked her. They searched her room. Obviously, it was empty. They let Annie sleep with them that night. The weird phenomena stopped for a while, but that wasn't the end of it all. One day, like a month later, the family was walking through the woods, and the parents realized that Annie, who had been bringing up the rear, wasn't there anymore. Which, I mean, just imagine if you're walking through the woods with your young kid, and then all of a sudden you turn around and they're gone. After going through some of this stuff already, just be, terrifying. They heard this terrifying scream, and despite searching for hours, the family was not able to find her. She vanished. Some hunters made a very gruesome discovery several weeks later, and Annie's dead body was in a clearing in the woods. Her face was missing. Lying next to her on the ground was the corpse of an old woman whose face looked like melting wax. Annie's death devastated her family. Obviously, her mother hanged herself. Her two brothers drowned while swimming. Mr. Wilcox was the sole survivor, and he slowly lost his sanity, scratching endlessly at his face as if he wanted to remove it. He wandered off into the Haynesville woods one day and was never seen again. People say the Flesher witch still lurks in the Haynesville woods even today. An old woman with a melting face is sometimes seen walking among the trees, and whenever animals or children go missing, she is blamed. No one knows who she is, and no one wants to get close enough to find out. So there is the Flesher witch legend. There's, in some ways, it's it reminds me of the Freetown State Forest and some of the stuff that they talk about in there, because one of the things that the Freetown State Forest does is it menaces young people and also seems to be a purely supernatural thing. I just thought it was interesting because it was very similar. What movie was Large Marge from? I know what movie Large Marge was from. Can I say it? This is Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Tell him Large Marge sent ya. That's a classic movie. Come on. Large Marge. That's a lot of trickers experience all kinds of paranormal activities. Certainly, yes. Remember Large Marge. That's good, Marcus. That's really good. Tell him Large Marge sent ya. So on top of the Flesher Witch, there's obviously the Phantom Hitchhikers. There's a haunted. There's like a couple ghost stories, and there's this Hairy Man thing, where this Hairy Man legend is a bit different than some of the other Bigfoot legends. This is it's not a big, giant, burly, patty-like thing. It's more lean, tall, skinny, long arms, covered in hair, human face, throws sticks and stones at you and screams at you in a very scary way. I immediately sent this to my good buddy Mike Lucci, the Bigfoot professor from This Week in Bigfoot, and said, we have to go up there this spring. We have to go up there, and we have to spend a weekend there. If there's all these different things going on there, this is like the perfect place to go for a weekend.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Right. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. You brought up something that I've always thought was very questionable the other day. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Oh, the moon landing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always had weird feelings about that. You might call me a conspiracy theorist or whatever, but I don't believe it ever happened. I mean, now Buzz Aldrin now is saying it never happened. There is a. Let's see if I can copy this on here. Let's see here. Yeah, put that link on there. There is a video on Facebook with this guy. He's on his deathbed doing a confession. His father confessed to him on his deathbed that he was a guard there when this landing took place, and a double hangar at Cannon Air Force Base in New Mexico.
Hold on one second, Dewey. Hold on one second. Dewey, hold on one second. I'm sorry. I just banned Marcus on accident. How do I unban him? How do I unban
You're asking
him?
me?
I was trying to click and bring a comment up, and I must have clicked on the damn 3 dots and hit the thing. How do I unban him? Marcus, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm trying to fix it.
Let me see if I can. I don't know if I can do anything or not. Let's see.
Hope, this is where I need you. He's going to time me out. I will time you out for your not watching. Can you believe Hope has never watched Rocky, Jaws, or Jurassic Park? Never in her life. She's never watched A Christmas Story or National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. How un-American!
Really?
How un-American is that?
Well,
Everybody shame Hope right now.
Vacation every year.
Everybody shame Hope right now.
And A Christmas Story. I've got to watch that one.
Yeah.
course, I still watch Frosty and
Yeah, me
Rudolph
too.
the Red-Nosed Reindeer too. You know,
Me too. And
The Wizard of Oz. I still watch it.
Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. Yep, I watch them.
Yeah,
Marcus has to wait 300 seconds to chat. I can't undo that.
300 seconds.
That's 5 minutes.
We can ramble on for that long, easy.
I know, but I feel bad. The poor
I do,
guy
yeah.
just started coming over to watch the channel, and look what happens. I immediately throw him in jail. Terrible host, Marcus. I'm so sorry, man. It can't be undone. Oh, that's ridiculous. You
Yeah.
even murderers get a pardon on their sentence. I mean, come on. It's insane. This is 2024, for God's sakes. Well, I'm sorry, Marcus. Next time I'll time everybody else out in the chat and you can have it all to yourself for 5 minutes, pal. I really feel bad. So go ahead. I'm sorry. So you've had an issue with this moon landing thing. You didn't really believe in it.
Yeah, I don't like I said, there were several things, you know, that if you believe his video, which I have no reason, you know, not to believe it, most of the stuff that they say didn't happen, they have debunked it, you know. This Air Force base was Cannon Air Force Base in New Mexico, which is only a little over 100 miles from Roswell. And they called it a Project Slam Dunk. Of course, you click on Project Slam Dunk, and it gives you all kind of stuff. And one of them brings up a conspiracy theorist, you know, about the moon landing. You know, they said LBJ was there when it took place. I said they put two large hangars together, dumped, had hundreds of dump trucks come in, dump sand, dirt, and then they brought in a layer of Portland cement to put on top to make a real fine dust on top of it, you know, so, to make it look like a lunar landscape, you know. But, so they painted the walls and the ceiling flat black. That's why you never don't see any stars, I guess, you know, in the lunarscape, you never see any stars for some reason. They're out there. So why can't you see them? I mean,
do you?
When you go outside at night here and take a picture and it's just real cloudy, you're going to see stars, you know.
I never even thought about that.
And
being up in space, wouldn't some of those stars be a lot closer?
A lot of them, yes, have been a lot closer and a lot brighter. You know, there's no light pollution, you know. So
right.
The photos they made were actually the shadows weren't parallel with each other like they should have been. You got one light source, which is the sun, and all the shadows should have been going the same direction. Some of them are straight and some are not parallel, you know. So, so Buzz Aldrin, you know, says it never happened, you know, which I don't, you know. Then the Van Allen belt was my big concern. How did they get through that and, you know, survive the radiation getting through the Van Allen belt? You know, I don't know. It's just a lot of things I just don't feel good about.
Well, I mean, here's the deal, right?
I could be wrong. I don't know. You know.
We've been lied to about so much for so long.
Oh yeah.
And back then, the space race was a giant
That was it.
deal.
Yeah,
It was it. If whoever won the space race was the most powerful country in the world, right?
Right.
You were the superpower. NASA back then was like a massive, massive thing. Nowadays, NASA is a sliver of what it used to be. You know, their budget is not anything near what they had back during the space race. Back then, they almost had, you know, never-ending funds.
Oh yeah.
So that was it. It was, you know, it was between us and Russia, I think, at that time, right? Maybe China was involved too, but I think us and Russia were the two that were really pushing to get to the moon first. And whoever got to the moon first was basically the winner.
Right.
So you know, at that point, it wouldn't have been like a crazy thing to think like our government would do anything they could.
Marcus is back.
Hey, thank you. I'm glad you're back. I'm sorry, buddy. I really feel bad. It's undisputed as far as surviving above 400 miles above the Earth, as far as I can recall. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the amount of radiation in that thing is outrageous, right? I mean, it's like
Oh yeah. Yeah.
crazy, crazy levels. Um, there's a lot of things, man. There's just a lot of things. Um, and I just kind of defer back to this whole disclosure thing with the aliens now. It's like, for years and years, people kept saying Roswell was real. It was an alien spaceship. There was at least one alien inside. They took the damn aliens to the base, and they kept one of them alive, and
Yeah.
yada yada. The military men who were there swore that they saw this thing, and of course, nope, it was a weather balloon. It was, it wasn't anything. And now, years and years later, they go, "Oh, aliens and spaceships are real." Sorry, we've been keeping all this stuff confidential and lying to
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
because we thought we couldn't tell you, and it would cause panic. Maybe back in 1947, there may have been some panic if they said we caught an alien and a spaceship. There may have been some. I don't think it would have been as bad as what the government is trying to use as an excuse, where it would have been like panic in the streets, people going crazy, looting, fires. Like, I
Oh
don't
yeah.
think it wouldn't have been like that, you know. I think you would have had some people who were nervous, but it's like, you know, people are people are resilient. Number one, um, yeah, there are a lot of stupid assholes out there, but for the most part, people are pretty smart enough to go, all right, well, if there's aliens out there, we've been on this planet for quite a long time and they haven't done anything to us yet. So why would we
Right.
panic now? But I believe it, man. I think it was all lies. I don't believe a whole lot that the government tells us. I never have. I just think it's propaganda and BS, most of it.
Yeah.
Just look at, RPG brought it up on the show. He was like, look at uh, what's it called? Come on, what's the word I'm looking for here? It's on the tip of my tongue. The budget for the Smithsonian every year. Look at the budget for that place. Anybody ever look that up?
Mm-mm.
I'll look it up right now and I'll give you the exact number. And this is probably a lie too. This is probably a lie. This is probably fabricated, and they've probably um, given you the conservative number. But it's, when you think about a museum, right? Uh, Annual budget for the Smithsonian. 1.144 billion.
What?
1.144 billion. That was for Smithsonian for the fiscal year 2023. So, and that was an increase from the year before of 1.062 billion. So you can imagine it probably increased again this year.
Oh yeah.
$1.144 billion to a museum. What do they need that kind of money for?
Exactly.
Tell
Or
me.
they've been paid to hide. It makes you wonder about that.
Exactly. You hear stories about like the Native American burial mounds, right? And I've heard stories about there being giants in some of them, and some of these giants, the skeletons going missing, just gone. See you later. And people saying that the Smithsonian came and took them, and that they're hiding them. I believe it. I believe it. If they get that much money, then imagine what the hell they probably have in that place.
Oh yeah. Who knows? Who knows?
It's just crazy. Think of how many employees they have across all the museum. Are you kidding me? You expected more? You expected more as an annual budget. That's $1 billion. $1 A bit. Okay. So let's compare, right? I'm gonna look up. Let's look up the annual budget for what's NASA's annual budget. NASA's annual budget, constant dollars, 2020. Whoops. Annual budget. Let's see. The closest I got right now is 2020. It was 22.6 billion. Wait, is that right? That ain't right. NASA's budget per year. Yeah, 22 billion. All right, so there's a lot of money there. That makes more sense to me, I guess. But even still, 20 billions. That's insanity. That is absolute insanity.
It is crazy.
For a museum, I'm sorry, I can't imagine a museum needs, $1.2 billion a year for what? For what? I mean,
Yeah.
you have a lot of employees, I get it, but you're just bringing shit in and then storing it someplace, essentially. So what do you need?
It's like the National Archives. Their budget's like $610 million. That's where they stole JFK's brain from, wasn't it? The National Archives.
Wait, they did what?
They stole John F. Kennedy's brain.
They did?
They had stored at the National Archives, and it come up missing.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Um,
Destroying evidence.
That's fun. I'm sorry, Hope. I don't give a shit how many employees they have. None of their employees are worth that much money. They're just not. Uh, I'd love to know like some other businesses with 6,300 employees, and important businesses and what their budgets are. The $1.2 billion seems like an awful lot of money to me, just for all right, let's bring this new vase in from the Roman Empire and dust it off and put it in a fireproof case that you can't burglarize and whatever. I don't know. It just seems ridiculous. Seems absolutely ridiculous. I okay, guess what? Temperature controlled storage. There's a temperature controlled storage place down the road from me, and it's $110 a month. It's like, you know what I mean? It don't make no sense to me. It makes no sense. How can they rationalize that? I just don't get it. There's a lot of I just believe that there's a lot of funny shit going on there. And it's not anything new. That's the thing. It's not anything new. These things got to go somewhere. Where do you think they keep like the alien that died in Roswell? It's got to go somewhere. You think they buried it in the back of the White House? No. It's got to go somewhere. What's a more secure place as far as like artifacts go than the Smithsonian Museum? I mean, that place is about as guarded as you can get, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Miss Kim Drescher, can I just say again, thank you. I really, really, truly appreciate you. Miss Kim is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful lady. And I just had to say that again.
Sound like Lawrence Welk.
I sound like Lawrence Welk?
Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Oh. Yo, what's up, Plowboy? What's going on? How are you, brother? Miss Stitchwitch, I didn't see you either. I've been just blabbing on and on. Patriot, no jab. I thought it said no job. Patriot, no job. I was gonna say, well, welcome, guys. Neil Armstrong admitted they didn't go to the moon. Yeah, I believe it. Pappy Two Bears, what's up? NASA's a front for siphoning taxpayer money to black projects, and another layer of the bread and circus distraction the deep state is using against us. Well said, my friend. Very well said. National Archives claim they misplaced JFK's brain. How do you misplace one of the most beloved president's brains? How do you misplace it? I mean, come on, man. Come on. It's not a friggin', it's not a bag of Doritos. It's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's just be real here. It's a brain. Unbelievable. The enormous hangar with innumerable secret artifacts. Smithsonian. Yep. Agreed. No one's been anywhere, full stop. You're absolutely probably right. Miss Kim, no, you're more than just a girl. Thank you, though. Alien technology and EBI bodies, dead or alive, moved to the S4 site underground. Yeah, let's talk about the S4 site for a minute. How many people in here have seen that documentary with Bob Lazar? It's a few years old. It was Bob Lazar, UFOs, and Area 51 or something, I think it was called. It was the Jeremy Corbell documentary. I really enjoyed it. Bob is an interesting guy. He's a very interesting guy. He's been saying this since the 80s, man. And, you know, they put him through the ringer. They tried to destroy this guy's life. He had much more to lose by saying this stuff than he ever had to gain, because the chances of anyone believing him were so slim. I mean, who the hell in the 80s was going to believe this, like, kind of nerdy, awkward guy who says, I work at a top secret hangar where we reverse engineer UFOs, and I've seen an alien down there before. Who the hell is going to believe that back in the 80s? I mean, let's be real.
Yeah.
No one was going to believe it. This guy took the chance knowing that he was probably going to be ostracized, and he did it anyway because he wanted people to know the truth. He talked about that hand scanner. Remember that? Where it had the pins in between the fingers, or the fins that were in between where you put your fingers, and it scanned your hand, and that was how you got in, or it was like, that was like your key card, basically. He described this thing, and then they end up finding one of them. I don't remember where they found it, but they found one just like what he described. And it was, I thought that was really interesting. I'd love to meet him too. Jesse's got a really cool Bob Lazar lamp, actually.
Yeah.
You saw that, right? You saw that, right?
I saw that.
Those were awesome lamps, man. I want one. Anyone knows how to make one of those lamps that Joe and Jesse got, the Hellbent Holler lamp and the Bob Lazar lamp, let me know. I need an Encrypted Connections one, like ASAP. I need one with my face going. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. That's when I die, though. That's what I want. You know, I don't want a funeral. I don't want to be cremated. I want to be stuffed. I want someone who loves me take me to a taxidermist, and then as a joke for the rest of, like, ever, I want you to put me in the corner of the room like this, somewhere. So that everybody
whose room?
I don't know. I don't know. Someone who deserves to be scared every day. Oh God. Stitchwich says, I believe the so-called aliens came from the center of the earth. I absolutely believe that most of these things that you're seeing, these UFOs, UAPs, whatever the term is now, it probably changed again. I think most of them come from here. I really do. I think it makes way more sense that they're here, either in the ocean, inside of mountains, I don't know, Antarctica, somewhere. It makes more sense to me that they're here than the fact that they possibly are traveling galaxies.
Yeah.
light years. Not that I'm saying I don't think that's possible. I'm just saying it makes more sense with how they do things here, especially now that they're terrestrial. They're not extraterrestrial. They're terrestrial. They're from here. I'm sure there are extraterrestrials, and they may be overseeing us from a place that we don't get to see.
Yeah.
But I think most of the stuff that you're seeing is here.
They're trying to protect ourselves from ourselves.
They probably are. I mean, you hear the stories about them flying over missile silos,
Yeah,
nuclear
yeah.
missiles, and just shutting them down, literally taking them offline. And the guys are panicking. Oh my God! Like, we can't do anything. We can't do anything. And then they just go, okay, here you go. We just wanted to show you what we could do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, just look at all the sightings since the bomb was dropped, on Hiroshima,
Yeah.
Look at the sightings that picked up after that, that was what, 1945. And then, then we got Roswell after that, we got the Mantell crash after that. And a lot of stuff happened after that. So,
yep, a lot of stuff.
something
Absolutely.
got their attention.
Absolutely. Kim says people are going to poo-poo me and think I'm crazy when I say we might be in some sort of holographic sort of universe, for lack of a better term. I'm not going to poo-poo you. I think it's a very plausible explanation.
It is.
The fact remains that do we really know at all what we are, what this is? I don't think we do. I don't think we have any idea what this really is. I mean, I want you to think just really quickly on a basic level about deja vu. How many of you have had deja vu before?
Me.
Everybody's had it, right?
Yeah.
I know you've had deja vu to the degree that it scares you. You go, holy shit. This is freaky. That I have definitely been here before and done this. To me, that is like, it's almost like a glaring look into, okay, this is a game. This is all predetermined in some way, right? Our script has been written. Yes, maybe things can change certain parts of that script, but I think in some way, shape, or form, we may be being controlled on a much more grand scale. Like, this is the Matrix. Is this more like a video game metaverse type of deal? Like, I don't know. It's all very, very, very like trippy when you really start to sit down and think about it.
Yeah, it is.
It's just crazy when you think about the fact that, like, I was driving the car the other day and I was thinking about how, like, everything is made up of supposedly molecules and all this stuff, right? And our brains and our eyes work together to form these things, these patterns of these things, so that we have some basis of what they are, to see them like, okay, this microphone in front of me looks like this cup in front of me looks like this, and it feels like this, when in actuality they're just molecules and energy and all this stuff. And it's like, I know this is it's like silly and trippy, but do they really look like this?
Yeah, exactly. That's
Do you know
what
what I'm saying?
That's what I was going to say. What you see and what I see may be totally different.
Yeah. And the other part of that is
the same thing. It looks different each one. You take 100 people witness a car accident or something, you're going to get 100 different descriptions of what happened.
Exactly.
Nobody sees the same thing.
Yeah, it's exactly. And that like it's people, when we go back to like the Bigfoot topic, right? People have encounters and people see different things and encounter different things. But they're saying at the end of the day, like, it's the same creature, but they look a little different. They act a little different. There's this one had this with it. There was a orb with this one, and a sound associated with this one. It's like, is it all about our personal perception and how we put things together, on like a cellular level? And then there's that whole tricky aspect to, like, we only see, hear, and smell about this much of what's really around us.
Oh yeah.
We only see, hear, and smell a sliver of what's actually out there. And that's crazy to think about, like the things that could be around us. It's just crazy.
It is. The part about deja vu that kind of upsets me a little, scares me actually, is once it happens, then I'm trying to think ahead for the next few seconds and thought, what happens next? Can I remember what happened next?
Right.
Something bad going to happen after that, or what? It's just, I don't know.
No, I get it. Mark says, yeah, I go to a place never been to, feel like home. Found out later, great grandfather owned that property in the early 1800s. Creepy, man. Just weird stuff. Marcus says, deja vu, maybe one of the greatest clues to alternate universes crossing upon us and overlapping. Yeah, absolutely. Yep, that's a very, very good point. Very good point. It's all nuts, man. It's all nuts. When these videos of these crafts, and so many of them are diving into the ocean, like the Tic Tac one.
Yeah.
They say this spaghetti monster thing, whatever everyone's calling it. What are they calling it? The jellyfish. That thing dove into the ocean for 17 minutes, according to some people, and then other people say no, it didn't. So who the hell do you believe? I don't know. That's a great. Yeah, hold on, I gotta put this up there. Kim, honestly, our brains do not create consciousness; they are receivers of consciousness.
Yeah.
Great point. Great.
I agree 100%.
Yep. Great point. Amazing point. Yeah. And so if we're receiving the consciousness, then are we all going through life seeing things vastly different from each other? I mean, I don't think so, because obviously, there are some things that you kind of know and agree on, right? And then, but there's other things that make me go, when you're talking about this kind of stuff, when you're talking about this high strangeness fringe stuff, because it's on that, it's on that fine line, right, between the here and there being the other side. At that point, then, is the interpretation of that stuff very different from person to person, because it's that, it's between here and there. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Yeah. What I think, that jellyfish thing and many other things. I've been here forever. For some reason, we're just now seeing them. That jellyfish thing to me looks like a droid from Star Wars. Who was I talking to that? Who was I talking with about that the other day?
I don't remember right off.
Dorbrand store this much knowledge, experiences, and memories. I mean, we obviously store quite a bit, right? I mean, you can remember stuff from when you were a child. I can. I have a hard time.
Yeah.
I have a hard time remembering shit from yesterday, but I can remember stuff from when I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
Much easier. Yeah. I mean, we definitely have quite a bit of a hard drive for sure. Let me see. I'm just looking at the chat real quick. Mike, what's up?
I remember my first UAP I saw.
Yeah.
In 1956. I was 4 years old.
You
And
remember that?
I can't, yeah, I remember it just like it was yesterday. I don't know exactly what it was. It may have been just a hot air balloon. It looked like a big giant turtle. It was up in the sky, and its legs were kind of like, blowing it around in the wind, waving around in the wind. And I've been trying to find newspaper articles, something. Surely somebody at that time would have seen something like that and made a picture or
Right.
put it in a newspaper or something. But I have searched the whole 1956 newspapers and I can't find anything on it. So maybe I was just, I don't know. I know it was about the same time my grandmother passed away, so that's why I remember the year. But I don't know. I can't find anything on it. I remember where it happened at and everything. I just can't find anything.
Yeah, I remember. I remember. I remember weird things when I was a kid. Um, there was this crazy, loud, like sonic boom at one point when I was a kid. I don't remember how old I was. Maybe around 10, 11. I wish my mom um, could knew the year, but somewhere around then. And it was this, like, I mean, it was a crazy, crazy, crazy sound. It was so incredibly loud. It like shook houses, and it was heard for quite a long ways, if I remember correctly. I think it even made the paper, and people didn't know what the hell it was. It wasn't anything from like the airport or jets flying over or
Mm,
anything like that. It was very strange. But it's weird things like that. It's like, what are these things? Um, what are these? What's everybody's thoughts on these weird, like horn-like sounds people hear? You ever hear those? You ever
yeah,
watch those videos on YouTube?
those are weird sounding.
Those are crazy sounding. Like, what in the hell is that?
Yeah.
They're so loud, and unless it's faked, I don't know. I don't look into it too much. It's one of those things that pops up in a YouTube feed. It's a short. I watch it for 60 seconds and then it goes bye-bye forever. But it's interesting.
Yeah, we lived in West Tennessee for a little while, and I was out in the yard one day, and it sounded like a sonic boom. I mean, it actually moved me. It was and then a D come running out of the house, and it was an earthquake. That's what it was. But this sonic boom hit at the same time it did, and I thought that was real wild.
Really?
But you could
Yeah,
actually feel it. I mean, it was that strong in the air. It was strong.
that's crazy. I've never heard of that before. Um, Mark says we have the Alabama booms. No one knows what it is. I'll have to look that up. That's interesting. Um, Miss Kim, the first real weird thing I remember as a tot, I was like 5 or 6, and I wanted to wake up really early to see a movie that was going to be on at 7. I dreamed of a really strange cartoon alarm, and then the weird alarm clock woke up, and it was time for me to watch the movie. Yeah, I mean, so I'm not trying to like knock you down with that, but I think sometimes that can literally be um, our internal alarm clock, right? It's funny how your body can know something like that. Like if you tell your body when you go to bed, like, I need to wake up at this time, I need to wake up at this time, I need to wake up at this time. It's funny if you really like listen to it, to your body, and see what happens. A lot of times you'll wake up right around that
Yeah.
time naturally. So I'm not knocking you down. It could have been something different, but there's a reasonable explanation for that. It's like, one of those things where like, oh, you got to interview the next morning or something, and there's something really important, you know what I'm saying? And then like you tell yourself, oh my God, I got to make sure I wake up. I cannot be late. It cannot be late. And then boom, you're up 20 minutes before when normally you'd sleep for another 3 hours or something. Ridge Runner, what's going on? I lived in the middle of Tennessee as a child and saw my first 2 UAPs in the night sky. Me and my brother, mom, stepdad saw them. I watched them for at least 45 minutes. Wow, that's a hell of a long time to watch them, too.
Yes,
That's
it is.
really interesting. My kitty, Saline, used to be my alarm. Yeah, cats are great alarm clocks, especially at 3 in the morning. They have a knack for wanting to wake you up between 2 and 4 a.m. At least mine did. That was when they would be at their wildest. Ollie would run through the house and knock shit off shelves, and Otis would meow loudly. Hope would walk right up onto your chest and get in your face and rub your face with hers and make sure that you get up.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I'm not sure why, but she felt it was time for you to wake up, pal. They're great alarm clocks if you don't like to
Yes,
sleep.
they are.
But yeah, it's really interesting, man. It's really interesting, this whole reality thing. You know, the possibilities are wild as to what this all is. And you know, it so much of it is like, it is contradictory to what we've been taught on both sides of the spectrum. Or it could be, whether you're a person who believes in science and the Big Bang, or you're somebody who believes in religion. You know, the crazy possibilities of what this all is could be neither of those things at all. I mean, it could be something much more wild than either of those, and both of those things are pretty friggin' wild. You know what I mean? I mean, pretty wild. Think about it for a minute. Now, I'm not knocking anybody. I want you to think about this for a second. To think that all of this came from one single organism, and then things collided, particles collided over and over to create all of this, right? When scientifically, when things go into a state of like collision, disorder, destruction, scientifically, you don't get order out of destruction. Do you know what I'm saying? So particles colliding scientifically cannot create order. Does that make sense? Like, that is not how things are created. That is how things are destroyed. So banging together over and over violently then creates life. Scientifically, that makes no sense. It just doesn't. And yeah, order from chaos. That makes no sense scientifically. But yet, this is what scientists say happened. If that's the case, then it's the only case scientifically in history, like in ever, that it's possible. So what made that possible that one time to create all this? Right. And then the other side of this coin is the religious side, where there is a creator, somebody, some being, excuse me, who is much is greater than everything and everyone else in every way, and somehow had a hand in making all of this. Said, I want to create people in the image of myself, not to be me, but in my image, and then they will live on this planet that everything is just so perfect, that, and it has to be so perfect to work together so that everything can be in harmony and create life and all of the things needed for people to survive and animals to survive and the planet to survive and all of that. I mean, I'm not knocking it. I'm not saying it's not true. What I'm saying is, it's such an amazing thought, right? It's such an amazing thought to think that. And people look at these things, I think, and just because it's normalized so much, people don't take a minute to stop and think, like, if one of these things is true, just how miraculous it really is. I mean, it is incredibly miraculous. Either one, incredibly miraculous, like just flipping nuts, man. that we live here, that we're alive today on this planet, and that everything works in harmony, so just so that we're allowed to survive every day, that we have the things that we need. If just one or two of these things did not work right, if a butterfly's wings didn't flap the way they flap, if a bee didn't pollinate, if you know what I'm saying, like just one little thing, and everything else is out of whack, and none of this happens, none of it, and we're not here. Just crazy.
Yes,
It's just
it
crazy.
is.
I'm sorry. I got a little bit
Are you okay?
Marcus, thank you very much, brother. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate you so much, man. I really do. So yeah, I just waxed poetic about nothing for 10 minutes. So apologies.
No, you're doing good.
If wasn't there a boom up in New Hampshire that weekend we were supposed to go? Was there? I'll have to look into it. I believe there probably was. I mean, who the hell knows? Probably. Ben's laughing. I don't know why Ben's laughing. Ben laughs at me a lot. Yep, cats get active around 3 at our house. Yeah, that's their hour, man. It's funny too, because that's the witching hour. Cats get active during the witching hour. And cats are known to be kind of a paranormal animal. That the cat was revered in Egypt, and they were supposed to be like a spiritual being, and they were revered, and yada yada, and they have 9 lives. And obviously the black cat is this kind of macabre thing. It's not a coincidence that they get active at the witching hour, in my book. Let me see. Do you want to talk about dark matter? Let's talk about dark matter. What do you have to talk about? Matter of fact, actually, if you want to talk about dark matter, you should read Christopher Noel's last book. What was the name of it? I think it was called There Is No Veil. I think that's the one that talks about dark matter. Really interesting book. That we are on the precipice of something. We are on the precipice of something significant. My second UAP I saw here in Missouri on Air Force Base where I work looked like a large light about 500,000 feet up. Watched it for over 30 minutes. I'm retired Air Force over 25 years. Very interesting.
Yes, it is.
Carl Sagan said one of the most profound things I ever heard. If you believe we were created out of a primordial soup, he said that we are a way for the universe to know itself. That is pretty. We are a way for the universe to know itself. Yeah. That is pretty profound, actually.
That's deep.
Yeah. Yeah, very deep. Wow. Genetically modified. I wish somebody would have modified me a little bit more then. Somebody got lazy with me.
That does bring up a topic of discussion about being genetically modified.
That mustache of yours is definitely genetically modified.
Mustache. I must ask you a question. Anyway, back in the Genesis, look how long people lived back in hundreds of years, 900 years, and something had to been modified to stop that. I mean, something prevented us from living 900 years, so it's
right.
I don't know.
Why though?
There's a lot of questions I've been working on trying to get things figured out, that's in the Bible, and I don't know. It's kind of a difficult subject for me to work on because my father was a minister, and he pretty much preached the Bible word for word, but I always had questions, some things just didn't add up.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that don't add up.
They still don't add up. So,
and the problem with anything that is influenced by humans and every religion is, right? Because God or Buddha or Allah or whoever you believe in, they are not here to tell you to your face, what exactly like shit is and what's what. Somebody at some point was read the Bible or given the Bible, however it goes, and then over time, humans we change things to fit our
Yeah.
own agendas. This is
Right.
what we do.
Right.
Not only that, but when you dictate a story to somebody or a whole bunch of them over and over and over throughout the course of history and time, things get lost, things get mixed up, things get, the dictation changes a little bit, and so the stories change, the words change, the meanings change, and so anything that is created by humans is flawed. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the Bible, in and of itself, because humans have had a hand in it, is not perfect. It's certainly not. If God really created us and the Bible, then it's certainly not exactly what God said. It's not, because we have had a hand in it.
Right.
So some things will not line up. They just won't. And then that's where the questions come in. And it's life is like a game, man. It's like a game in a lot of ways. A lot of times the game isn't fun and it sucks. And then there's some times where the game is like you're on a hot winning streak and things are going well, and but it's all about like figuring out these riddles and puzzles as you go day by day, and that's about the best you can.
Right.
It's about the best you can do. It's about the best you can do.
Yeah, some of the books didn't get put in the Bible. They got left out. Like the Book of Enoch. It got left out. I
Yeah,
read several years ago. Read through a book called I think it was the Lost Books of the Bible. I think was the name of it. It had a lot of stuff that really put some thoughts in your mind. So
yeah,
I don't know.
yep, absolutely. Um,
Frankenstein.
has anyone ever read Zachariah Stitchin? No, what is that? What is that? I'm gonna have to look that up. 12th Planet? Yeah, 12th Planet Jiu-Jitsu. That was what I studied. 12th Planet Jiu-Jitsu. That's probably not what you're talking about, but that's what I studied. Interesting stuff, though. Very interesting stuff. This has actually been a pretty fun chat tonight. No, Hope, are you just saying words now? You're just saying words. The Game of Life, Shoots and Ladders, sorry. The Gnostic Gospels, the Dead Sea Scrolls. She's just saying words. She did this to me earlier, too. She just said some words that made no sense. And I don't know. I'm supposed to follow along or something. Apocrypha. Did I say that right? Apocrypha? 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 What is that? I don't know what that is. 5:30, so I'm going to start my ritual. All right, go start your ritual, as long as it doesn't have to do with slaughtering any animals and dripping their blood on a sacrificial star on the ground or something. Then go for it. I also get up very early in the morning. Not on purpose. It just happens. That alarm clock you talk about, Kim, I have that weird alarm clock every day, and it wakes me up at around 4:30, 4 o'clock, 5 maybe, if I'm lucky.
Yeah, I got up at 3 o'clock for years to be to work on time, and it stayed with me for a long time. I finally kind of weaning myself out of it now, but most of the time 4:30 is, if I'm in bed before 4:30, I'm sleeping late.
Yeah, it's ridiculous,
Usually up by
man.
then, so
Good night, Ben. Thanks for tuning in, buddy.
Good night,
Yeah,
man.
it sucks. It sucks, man. Um, I wish I could sleep late. And then like the very, very rare times that I feel like I could sleep late are the times when I absolutely have to get up. You know what I'm saying? Like just if I
Yeah.
ever get lucky enough to where I feel like I could actually sleep and I don't wake up at 4 a.m., it's the days when I have to get up. So I don't even get the chance. It just sucks. Life messes with you like that too. It's
Oh yeah.
all of this is like sometimes you just feel like it all just messes with you. Everything just goes, oh yeah, let's see how we can F with him today. Yep. Yep. Mystery, my story. Oh yeah, here goes fresh with his wordplay. What's the term for that? What do you call that? Where you break down a word. Uh, it's like one of his favorite things. Tell me what it's called, fresh. He's
I can't. I'm at a loss right now, Eddie. I can't think of what it is.
gonna say it. Etymology. Yep.
Yeah.
Damn it. Damn it. I
I
knew
thought that
it
was a
was.
study of insects.
What's that?
I thought entomology was a study of bugs.
Etymology.
Oh, okay.
Is entomology the study of bugs? Is it?
Yeah. Entomology.
Um, Ethiopian Bible, the supposed oldest translated version. That's the Apocrypha. Is that what it is? I'm gonna have to look this up. That's interesting. That's very interesting, actually. Um, Hope is saying, "Do you think the Ark is in Ethiopia? Is there a um, the Ark of the Covenant? Is this a thing? Like, is it um, a known topic people talk about that the Ark of the Covenant is possibly in Ethiopia? Is this like? I'm guessing it's something that's been discussed at some point. If you're talking about it, and why do they think it's in Ethiopia?
Yeah.
Entomologists bug me. That's great. You're on one tonight, Marcus.
You know what would be weird
What?
if you woke up some morning, you had spent your whole entire life in this some kind of a cryogenic chamber. You'd been asleep all these years, and all this stuff was programmed. Your whole life, as you know it, was just nothing but a movie you were watching. You experienced. Wouldn't that be weird?
Well, I mean, there a lot of people believe that that's possibly what's going on, that we are part of you know, a big show, that we're being controlled by something else. That this is basically like a giant video game almost.
Yeah.
That something or things that are much greater outside of this are making choices that change things inside this game for us, that we're basically just kind of like the characters in the game. I don't know, it's all freaky weirdness, man.
Yes, it is.
Any more apocryphal etymology questions for our amateur astronauts? Ark of the Covenant is in Mar-a-Lago, Florida. I sure hope not. I sure hope not. I almost believe that Florida might be hell. That's what I believe. That place is just the strangest place on the planet. It's a weird place. If you watch the news, man, go on YouTube and just like throw on like type in Florida news clips and just watch some of the strange shit that happens there daily. The weirdest things that happen on a daily basis in the United States happen in Florida. Always. There's a car being sacked in the arc being. There's a carving in Rome of Jerusalem being sacked and the ark being carried off. Interesting. There's a replica in Mar-a-Lago. Oh,
I believe Tennessee Ridge Runner hit on the head right there. I believe.
the Ark of the Ho. Is that Kamala's house? Oh,
He's got to be from Tennessee. Got to be.
Miami is close to the Bermuda Triangle. Yes, it is. Miami's all of Florida is weird, man. It's just strange. I mean, any place where they create a drug from spraying wasp killer on like a screen, like for your screen door, and then letting it dry and scraping the crystals off, and then I think it's wasp killer and maybe something else, and they spray it on these screens and they let it bake basically in the heat. Then they scrape the crystals off and use it as a drug. It's called Flocka. Any place where you create a drug from wasp killer, like, come on, it's something. It's something. Rug burns suck. Oh boy. Yes, the blue pill will keep you up all night. It will. This is true. And if you have heart problems, maybe talk to your doctor before you take it. I want to look into this Ethiopian Bible. This is really interesting. Really interesting. I love history, man. I love history. I love anything like historical mysteries. I love that stuff. Speaking of, this is a little off topic, but I'm curious. You know that show Curse of Oak Island?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You ever watch that?
Yeah.
Did they ever find that treasure? Does anyone know?
I don't.
That was to me, that was a really interesting, if it was real, it was a very interesting topic, that place that they were at, and that there was these chambers in that hole in the ground that kept booby trapping, so you could not get in it without it flooding, and really, really cool stuff. Did you check out the Black Knight satellite? Damn it, I did not. Okay, I've degraded myself enough for one night, or am I ready for another timeout? Is that what you call this? Is that what you call coming on this show, in this chat? Degrading yourself?
Wow. I never found the treasure.
What's up, Mike G? Welcome, man. I saw 10 seasons and they never found it, but they did find some artifacts. They did find artifacts. I remember that. They found something that had the Templars cross on it, I believe, at one point. I'm just joking with you, Marcus. I'm completely joking. I will, like, I'll joke about myself. I'll make jokes at my own expense. Because if it was me, I would say that I was degrading myself by being in a chat on my show. Except I wouldn't say that because of so many wonderful people in this chat, because then I would be putting them down. It's still on the History Channel. Man, that's crazy. It's been on for a long time. It's been on for a really long time. I'll tell you what, though. If there's a treasure buried there, and there's got to be something going on there, because they found crazy artifacts that that show that there's been all these different people there. If there's something buried there, I want you to think about how complex those people were. It's probably the greatest security system that possibly was ever built. Seriously. I
Yeah.
mean, look at where we are. We are in 2024 and they cannot get to this thing because the tunnel floods, things break, it caves in. It's like they can't get to it. We're in 2024. We have all the machinery in the world. We have computers, we have AI, we have all this shit, robots. They can't get to it still. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, but then again, DB Cooper still hasn't been found, which is another amazing mystery to me. That guy is just a gangster. That's what he is. They did find the fingers in the water that fed the tunnels. Interesting. Something's there, but it keeps getting flooded. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just an amazing security system. Really amazing to think of it when it was made. It's incredible. Good night, Mark. Don't work too hard, buddy.
Yeah.
Thanks
Have a
for
good
joining in, buddy. Appreciate you. What the hell else was I just going to say? And I forgot now already. We were talking about that.
Even a greater mystery to me, more than Oak Island, is Skinwalker Ranch. You know, I wonder what's under that mesa. You know, I'd love to be able to get in there and just take a dozer and push it all down and see what was in there. You know,
it's an interesting place. You know, the government gave money to that place. The government's not giving money to some place where nothing's going on. There's something going on there. They gave a lot of money to figure out what was going on at that place. So something's going on there. Have you ever heard of Bradshaw Ranch?
Can't say that I have.
Look that one up. That's another one. It's not as famous as Skinwalker Ranch as far as like pop culture goes. But Bradshaw Ranch is another place that supposedly has very strange things happen on it. There was a documentary. The documentary was a little bit batshit crazy in some spots, but it was called Hoodoo Tall, HOODOOTALL. It's on YouTube, I believe. And it's a little batshit crazy at times, but there's some parts of it that are very interesting. Like when they're sitting there and they're watching the UFOs in the sky, and you can see these things through the night vision goggles and shit, and they're flashing laser lights at them, and the things are flashing back.
Right.
And then these crazy footprints that are found in the sand there, that are like monster footprints, is what they look like. They don't, I mean, there's some supposed Bigfoot activity, there's some paranormal activity, there's UFO activity, there's talk of like a possible dinosaur-like creature that people have seen, you know, portal stuff, like all kinds of very strange happenings going on there, and some evidence of all of it. It's really a crazy place. You got to look into it. Do you see that alleged Bigfoot photo I covered from Bradshaw Ranch the other week? I did. I sent you a message, man. I sent you a message that said I saw the picture, but I was really interested about in the picture that I knew quite a bit about Bradshaw Ranch. I had done a pretty deep dive into that place a few years ago. Weren't the Indians even staying away from Skinwalker Ranch from way back? Of course they were. Yeah, they told people not to go on that land. What's the name of it's the Uinta Mountain Range. That's right there. You know, they claim that those Uinta Mountains are just bad juju. Don't go near them. Yes, so's mine. You should show Mountain Monsters. Oh yeah, those guys are great. Mountain Monsters. You ever watch that show?
Oh yeah.
Wild Bill. Those guys are great. Let's talk about that show just briefly, real quick. Here's a show that is strictly entertainment, right? It's nothing about it is real. It's completely entertainment. Those guys are from you talk to anybody who's ever met those guys, and they'll all tell you that they are great people. And they're very nice guys. They'll take pictures with the kids and talk to the kids, and they're just wonderful human beings. they don't make any claims that their show is real. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not
Right.
out there saying this is all real. Like it's entertainment, and they know it is, and that things like that. Like I don't get mad at that because they're not claiming to be a real show. It is entertainment, and it's for entertainment purposes only.
You're right.
If it drives people to be interested in these subjects, then awesome. Like it's great. I think it did it. I think it did its job. If it does that, I don't get mad at that shit.
I met Wild Bill at the Flatwoods,
Yeah,
West Virginia. He
He's
is a
one-
trip. I mean, he come up and just sat down, was talking to us just like he'd known us all of his life and everything. He just unreal. The character. But he'd go into character, he'd come out of character. But it was neat. It was neat. That made the whole trip for me. Just to meet him.
That's what I heard. People say that about him. Like he's just the nicest guy. He was like a real badass too, like a military man, was he not?
I think so. Yeah, he was a Marine. I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was driving that old truck he drives on the show, that little blue Toyota or whatever it is.
Oh, no way.
Had a bunch of junk piled up in the back of it and all. He was something else, boy, just down to earth. And he told me, he says, you need to come to it was right before the, one of the other conventions. He said, you need to come to it. And he says, I'll even buy you lunch if you show up. So I didn't make it. It was right before the Mothman Festival. They went there, I think, but it was great. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I would have been there. Just free lunch. That's all I need. Real quick, somebody mentioned, I think it was Miss Kim mentioned in the chat, the docuseries Hellier earlier. I've mentioned it many times on this show. If you have not seen that series yet, it's on Amazon Prime. It's called Hellier, Hellier. You need to watch that. To me, it's one of the very best documentaries or series about high strangeness and the synchronicities and connections between all high strangeness, that they start out looking for one thing, and where that whole series takes them is just incredible. I mean, it's incredible. I'm hoping they're going to do a third season. I don't know that they are, but I'm praying to God. It's been probably 4 years since the last season, but I continue to hope and pray that they'll do another one. It was that good. And it really, like, when I say I think all this shit's connected, that series really, really reinforces that all of this weird shit is connected. So if you haven't watched it, go watch it.
You say it was on Prime?
It's on Prime, yes, sir.
Okay.
It's got two seasons, season 1, season 2. Yeah, it's very good stuff. Planet Weird. What's his name? Greg Newkirk and Dana Newkirk are the husband and wife who created that, and then Tyler Strand was the other guy who was in it.
Okay.
Jesse knows him, I guess. Jesse, if you're watching, or if Joe's watching, probably not. Joe pops in and out pretty quick. They're celebrities, so Joe spends 10 minutes, in the beginning of the show here, and then he's got to go do his celebrity stuff. So he leaves pretty quickly. But what do you expect from a superstar, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, Joe, if you happen to watch this lowly show, tell your wife to put me in contact with Tyler Strand. I'd love to talk to him. But anyway, I think that's going to do it for me. You good?
I'm good. Maybe you are.
All right. Yes, Hellier was great. Miss Frankie. So yeah. Oh, I wanted to say one other thing. Same for Taylor Swift. I wanted to say one other thing. Uh, the a couple of people asked. I don't have a problem talking about it. Stitchwitch asked about it too last night. I had mentioned that there was I had a little bit of a health thing going on. A couple years ago, I had gone to the hospital for one thing, and when they gave me tests, they did a bunch of tests, and they took my blood or whatever, and my liver numbers came back really messed up, and it showed that there was something going on. They didn't know what at the time, and so uh, I also didn't have insurance at the time, so I was limited on what I could do. So anyway, fast forward now, we're here 2 or 3 years later, and I've gone to doctors, and um, the first one I went to didn't really do anything at all, just kind of brushed it off. And then finally got this doctor who's a really, really nice guy. And the first thing he did was order another blood test. And the blood test came back, and the numbers were worse. We kind of hoped that maybe it was something going on at the time where, I did have, I was sick prior to that and had an infection. And so you're hoping maybe that was what it was, but
Right.
no, it's not. Obviously, this is like a chronic thing. And so, um, we, I technically, if you go off of the numbers and the blood test and stuff, it's cirrhosis is what it is. Um, there's, I don't drink, but anybody who knows the show knows that at one point in my life I was addicted to painkillers, and I ate a lot of pills, and so it's possible that that's what caused this. Even all these years later, I've been clean from those things for almost 10 years. Um, and so now we're just trying to figure out what to do. Hopefully, there's medicine that you can take that's supposed to slow the progression down of it. The liver is, it's tough. A lot of times it can repair itself and rebound. Um, we don't know if my liver will repair itself at this point. The possibility is the best we can hope for is that we can slow it so that it doesn't, so that I don't get really sick and the liver end up failing. Um, so right now that's where we're at. I got to go see a specialist and get on some meds and see what happens from there. But people had asked, I I don't want anyone like, I don't mind sharing this shit with people. I don't want pity. It's not what I'm doing this for. I'm just sharing it because people asked, and I don't want anyone like, I'm okay. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like obviously any health stuff can be scary, but like I'm okay. You know, um, Marcus, it's tough to say. Uh, I'll tell you why it's tough to say, because over the last like 2 years, um, the liver thing, Lyme disease, and a pituitary gland issue, all in the last 2 years. So, um, a lot of the symptoms of all three of those are very similar. So, yes, energy levels are down, lethargic at times. Um, uh, you know, there's a lot of shit going on, man. Some of it's really difficult to deal with just from a frustration standpoint, but like uh, for the most part, like I'm good. Um, there, one thing I am is hard to keep down. That's one thing. I'm a stubborn Irishman, so I got that going for me. But So I just wanted anyone who was curious to know if anyone had heard. I mentioned it, and then people asked. So that's where we're at. But I'll keep you up to date. Don't worry, I'm good. I'll be fine. And I appreciate anybody who asked. But we're good. We're good. We're good. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. As always, I appreciate you all. I can't say that enough, and I'll never stop saying it. Yeah, and I'm gonna try to go back out this weekend. I don't know. I'll talk about that thing too. Like I went to go see these people. They have like potential stuff going on, Bigfoot related at their house. There's a bit of trepidation and apprehension with talking about some of it and sharing some things, as there can be when you have people who may have this stuff going on. They're very guarded and private, and so there's some things that I couldn't do. Like I couldn't film there, I couldn't investigate there with the camera and all that stuff, and so I'm going to work on that. I want to try to be able to do that to share with you guys. You saw the young lady who came out with me. That's the daughter of the family who's having these weird things happen there. So we're going to work on that for the future. But I'm going to continue going out. You know me. I love the woods. It's my happy place. So we'll see. If the weather permits, I'll be out this weekend. Dewey, what do you got going on?
I've got the book signing at Fort Donaldson in Dover, Tennessee, coming up Saturday. Be there from 9 o'clock to 5. I was there last year, and they invited me back, so that's a good sign, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good sign.
Civil War Symposium is what it is. I wrote
Nice.
a couple of books, concerning the Civil War, and that's the two I'm probably going to push the most, probably. But I'm going to take all of them with me in case you never know.
Awesome. Right on. Well, if any of you are in that area, please go see our good friend Dewey and show support and get.
That is right at the edge of Land Between the Lakes. So,
well, there you go. You can go get a book signed, and then you can go get kidnapped by a dog man at the same day.
Exactly.
So go get a book signed, go get a boobie signed, go get a butt cheek signed, whatever you like,
Right.
Whatever you like. And it'll be a fun time.
Oh, yeah.
And we will be back next Tuesday with another show. Hopefully we will have a guest. I've been working on, man. This guest thing is so difficult sometimes. People say, yeah, I'd love to come on the show, and then trying to get them nailed down for a show is the most difficult part. Like trying to coordinate a time to come on, to try to get them on Tuesday when we do the show normally, so that Dewey's schedule is free and he can be here. And then, it's just so difficult. It's a pain in the ass. So I need a damn booking agent. That's what I need. Somebody who can get the talent just while I sit back and, I'm the face of this goddamn thing. Why do I have to do all the work? All right, I'm just kidding. I love you all. Have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and you'll probably see me this weekend at some point on a live in the woods somewhere. Thank you, Dewey, as usual. Love you, buddy.
Love you, man. And like you said, if you need anything you need, we're here. Let us know, and we're here for you, man.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. Have a good night, guys. See you next week. Take care.
Good night, everybody.